plenty of museums in your time.
Nerd. Museums. The Wax Museum, I think, was particularly
Oh, yeah, we gotta get to that one out here in Los Angeles.
No, I'm joking. I've never
Right.
Okay, so moving on. The thing that I'm wondering about now is, like, is there some kind of message here? Because they're no longer transporting the gauntlet. Now it looks like they're transporting a bomb. Is that all it is, really? Is it just a bomb that's to go boom in the museum?
Yeah, there's bombs in museums, undetonated ones, you know, to bear witness to the folly of man.
Or one of these days it's going to be a container, and it's just going to, like, it's going to get patched, and the container will have fallen open, and it will show a clue for the next.
Ah, yeah, spoilers.
Let's go.
So I think NYXL has kind of gotten a read on Boston, and Boston have been pretty much just running dive. At least they're defaulting back to that dive. Of course, 2 flankers, highly mobile. You get in there and you try to get some work done. It's worked well on their offense, not so much on the defense, but not always what you want to run on Numbani. It's good on Numbani offense, but look, anti-dive already queued up for NYXL, including a McCree and a Junkrat.
Yeah, they clearly have prepared well, it seems. This is their game plan. They're going to stick to it. We're not seeing a soldier coming out here for Boston Uprising. It's a strategy that we sometimes see here on teams as well when you get that high ground, but it is pretty pure dive coming in here from Boston Uprising, and they are looking to try and create some space here. Nope, looking for his chance to just go boosting in. Doesn't want to waste all of his defense matrix, though. You're going to need that when you start getting shot in the face by Saviolbi on that McCree.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of damage, too. Gets chunked down, gets discorded and hit with a couple of those. Just can't find his right moment to get in there, and it's almost taking a little too long to set up this dive. At some point, you just got to go.
I mean, when you've got a damage boosted McCree who just keeps hitting shots, look at this. This is ridiculous. He's up to 76% already, Saviolbi. He's going to have a Deadeye when this first push comes through, and Kelix, well, there it is. I mean, they decided to just farm up the Valk, get the wings out, and have the res for the push, because Striker, he's already used one of them.
Yeah, they better make this work now because they get blocked. A beautiful reflect, high noon back in your face. That's midnight into Saviolbi.
Oh, that's so sick. That was the big play. Dreamcasper couldn't have done it better. He gets clipped in the end as reward for his good work, but still, the damage is done. They are still contesting here, New York Excelsior, trying to hang in there, but it's got to end soon, and eventually it does. Note, with 2 kills at the end, finally snuffs the defense, and we will be moving into the payload portion of this map.
You know, it's a bit of a bait, and I think I got a little baited too. They're sitting down there just eating all the damage on the D.Va just to charge up that ultimate. And then they decide, well, we were thinking about going in, but now I'm at like 50%. I'm getting 20% every couple of seconds. Why don't we just wait for my Valkyrie to come up? And they use that precisely, got in, we're able to take first point. Good play, Boston.
Yeah, allows for Striker to just be over-aggressive, really get in there and dive. Oh, surprise, surprise, Striker.
Tickle, tickle.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, wow, I need healing. Get out of here. You got a mic. Ask your healer for heals. All right, never mind. Right now, this is still going to be his Striker. I mean, he is kind of still hanging around the point with his team, not really getting too far away. We see some Tracers like to go on their own, kind of create their own plays. But hey, if you're just going to hang around here and pulse bomb Janus into oblivion, that works too.
It was actually one of the knocks that you could put on Boston was that Striker was playing a little too alone, away from the rest of his team. He seems to have kind of reined that in, is playing around the rest of his team, playing with his other DPS a lot closer. But that is all for naught, as Echo had gotten in there, got a nice self-destruct at the very least, but this is some weird positioning happening now. They're pulling all the way back.
Yeah, they really are. Not going to challenge even here at the bend. I feel like there might be a chance for him to do so. Janus is hanging around the corner, waiting for the rest of his team to group up. I guess they're waiting on Libero to get back into the fight. He does have his Riptire. Quite a few ultimates in play here for New York, so this should be a fight that they should just crush through, although we do have both support ults for Boston Uprising.
Yeah, Mecca had gotten enough done that they're able to come in here and at least contest second, so they just don't want to fight around up that hill around the bus. They'll wait for that second bend right now, but it does open up the flank from Dreamcasper. I wonder if this tire finds him. It does. Heat-seeking tire.
There we go. Kelix, you see him just slowly drifting over there, though, and he will get the res off. So Dreamcasper back into the fight. But this is the Valk used very early, and guess what? Arc is still holding on to his, and so it's a question of when Arc decides to deploy the wings.
Yeah, a lot of patience right there. It might be right now as Libero falls in this fight. They do bring him right back to life, as they do Janus. Both of those resurrection charges now used up. Deaths will be permanent from this point on.
Yeah, Libero manages to take out Dreamcasper again, and Libero doing big work, getting the DMAC as well, and the follow-up on Note. Note not able to do anything here, and the cleanup, it's vicious. They get completely rolled in the end, Boston, and I think a lot of that has to do with the Mercy ults, the staggering. The fact that Arc gets to hold on to his longer means that they're... you'll obviously get to stagger that chain heal.
Just extremely patient in that play, and the Junkrat is so good at anti-dive. Not only does he shut down flankers, not only does he just one-tap tracers essentially. A damage boosted Junkrat will one-shot a tracer, but when the tanks come in, the mines disrupt them so much. It knocks them off the course. They're launched into the air, and they're easy pickings for the rest of it. Happens to be McCree's sniper on the rest of it.
Oh boy. Oh, that is so styling. Libero. Both concussed mines, but it doesn't matter. He stays alive and dodges that ultimate. Sick play from him, and now he's got the Riptire as well. We'll see when he decides to use it. Nope, just barely getting out of there in the nick of time. And here it comes, the Tire looking for a target, and he could find one. There you go, Nico.
And Nako in the back line did not see that one coming, and now the cleanup is there. A note does finally fall. They will clean up the rest of it, and this point still contested means that spawns have not moved forward. Boston trying to get those last few meters, unable to do so, and now they're gonna have to reset.
That is where it makes you kind of sick, you know, that you're so close, you just see a couple of meters there on the progress bar. And as you guys can see, that payload, if you aren't touching it, if you aren't Boston, right, you're not on it, it is going to start slowly backing up. You start losing ground, and so we're going to have to see Boston try and come up with a play here, start pushing this payload forward again.
They've done a really good job of watching this flank because Casper's not switched up. This is the second or third time he's tried to come into that right side. Now they know where he is, and it's just going to be a matter of tracking him throughout the rest of the fight.
Just keeping an eye open, listen for the audio cues, and sure enough, Saviobi looking for him. I mean, this is good by Dream. He is still trying to draw Saviobi out of position further back from the fight. But I mean, eventually he's going to have to do something here, Dream.
Yeah, he does actually draw them all the way back, but Deadeye's going to be there. Casper's going to try to knock this down, and he does. Gives his life for it, though.
Again, and exactly, Arc is there, but Calyx, the trade on the reses, and we have both DPS back in the fight almost immediately. Gamsu locked in place, nowhere to go. He gets caught by Libero. And well, so far, now there it is. That's the big play. Saviobi with the flash. Dream Casper shut him down once with the reflect, and now he gets a taste of his own medicine.
They've just had him completely on lockdown. It's not that he's playing predictably, but they know exactly what he wants to do and when, and he's been a non-factor in the last couple of fights, so much so that Casper has given up the ghost on his Genji. Will try to get this last push going with his own McCree.
Now we're down to just mere seconds now left in this pool, 10 seconds left. You just got to dive onto the point and hope, cross your fingers that you'll be able to turn the tide. Libero, perfect position, however, for him to hang out with the Riptire and snuff him as they try and push forward. Wow, they're cutting it pretty close here, playing with the Wick as well.
Now they just got to get a touch in, and now they've already lost two. Nako now gets brought back. That means Striker's permanently dead, as is Casper. And barring a miracle self-destruct from Notes, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, this is pretty much where it all ends, although we do have the Primal Rage getting used by Gamsu, trying to buy a little bit more time. I like the self-destruct as well. They are finding kills. You can't get too sloppy, Excelsior. If you start giving up these frags, Boston can still have the Outlast sustain to stay alive on this point if they're dealing with your squishies alone. And sure enough, nobody here. Finally, the Transcendence comes through just to buy a little bit more time, just to contest it.
Transcendence and Valkyrie both popped here to make sure that everyone stays alive and healthy, even through death. Another Deadeye trying to zone them off, and that cart has got to be burning down quick.
Gets the frag on Striker. The Wick is going to keep getting slower and slower. Saviobi, another big frag for him. Both Striker and Calyx fall to the guns, and he's getting healed up as well. This might be the moment, because that Wick is not going to last long if somebody isn't here to tap it. And sure enough, they will run out of time, Boston, and they do not look too pleased with the results. Gamsu did the best that he could. You have to give him props. He did the best that he could to buy time at the end, but it just wasn't enough.
One of the big questions about Boston coming into the regular season of the Overwatch League is what happens when Plan A goes wrong? Plan A essentially being their composition, which relies so heavily on the Tracer and Genji play of Dream, Casper, and Striker respectively. And when they've had to come off of that with this very well planned out anti-dive defense, they've not looked quite as good.
It's a question of how quickly can you adapt. But this is also something that was brought up, I mean, many times now about Boston. You know, players that perhaps are lacking a little bit of the experience, right? Still trying to figure it all out. And so this could be one of their weaknesses, where they're not going to know how to adapt right on the spot when you're sitting on the stage in front of a crowd of fans.
Finding their way through the world, who's the in-game leader, who's going to make these calls to switch things up, that things have to go this way, and maybe still waiting for that voice to emerge.
Very curious. I mean, it's exciting times here at Overwatch League. It's going to be a fantastic year because we all have so many things to learn now as well. You know, how are you using subs properly? You know, coaches have a lot of options now with these rosters. And while it is going to be a very long league as well, so a question of stamina comes into play as well. You got to think about it like a marathon. You can't get too hung up on the first days because you still have many more to come. But I mean, a win here, starting strong, that would mean everything for Boston. They are perfectly capable of holding here on the first point and taking us to a 5th map.
Absolutely. New York was playing a little bit there with what they were going to run offensively. We'll see what they want to bring out. Does seem like the Excel are running a very standard Numbani defense. It's not a dive defense necessarily. What happens here is you sub in an Ana for that distance healing. You sub in a 76 for that distance damage.
So now we get to see how quickly are they going to be able to push forward here. You got Janice already taking point. And Libero on the Pharah. This could be fun. Libero can be beastly with the rockets.
Yeah, a very versatile player, and he's going to come around the backside there, already get some poke in. Those damage-boosted rockets do sting, and everyone has to back all the way off. It's a question of if they can even get some pressure to pull them back, because as we saw in our earlier set, you don't want to just walk up the street against this kind of firepower.
Yeah, they don't really... Where is Dreamcasper? I mean, he is going to be the main answer, I imagine, along with Ana to try and deal with this Pharah. Just a tap on the point, trying to draw him out. I'm liking it from Libero, creating a little bit more space for himself, and he has repaired. Now he knows where the soldier is coming from, and you can see instantly trying to put as much pressure as possible on Dreamcasper. He's coming pretty close to picking him off, and there it is! Dreamcasper walks right into a rocket, and this is now where it starts to get a little bit complicated here for Boston. They've lost one of their main players.
And they had just used the resurrection on the Ana as well, and Ana can actually help to chime in and deal with that Pharah. But you can't deal with a Pharah when they're that far back. You almost don't have an answer. You just sit there and take it, and at a certain point you have to try to come in and fight against it. Calyx gets discorded and deleted. They really need a couple kills. Striker trying to bring this back.
He had just valved as well. That was a big kill. Oh, the snipe! Jodak dropping Neko at a distance, and now, I mean, well, you have both supports that are pretty much dead. Calyx is hoofing it, trying to get back here quick, trying to keep his team alive, but Libero is obliterating them with the rockets, and Jodak, here we go. Now we're starting to get a bit of the master class from the Master Zenyatta.
Yeah, if you've been on the internet at all the last week or so, you've seen the Span Zenyatta clips. They are a daily occurrence. Striker did his best there, ended up with about 3 eliminations in that fight, but Libero played it so far back for a while, then finds himself this great position. Justice reigns both indoors and out. Picks up a couple tank kills.
I like that, when you're decisive. It's like, actually, I could try and get you with another rocket and delay things and get greedy, but no, I'm just gonna go ahead and barrage you in the face where you have nowhere to go. Dreamcast, but not really loving life right now. It's a bit tough, it's a bit grim. And the payload progresses forward now for New York Excelsior. But I like this from Boston. They are challenging fairly early here, at least. They do have Note trying to at least contest that point.
It's right on the edge of being able to fight here and lose and then get another fight in, or you're very close to losing one decisive fight, loses you this map.
So we've had the swap off of Pharah. Libero now on the soldier, so a little bit more range damage. Janice has found his target, and he completely shuts Calyx down. This is big. They don't have that much room to work with here, Boston. They have to stay alive, and Neko getting tased.
It's not just if your Mercy dies, it's the order in which she dies. She cannot be the first target to go down. That is all the healing, all the resurrection available gone. And the New York XL will walk it home on Numbani.
3-1. Final score for New York Excelsior. It seems like that has been a trend today. They did not disappoint. I mean, nobody could be disappointed with Pine's performance, but I think that everybody else, you know, they really did show that New York, they are a team to reckon